This is the Private Officer Beat Radio with Rick McCann at the microphone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Private Officer Beat Radio. I'm your host, Rick McCann, founder and CEO of Private Officer International. We are a private security and law enforcement organization/association. And we have members throughout the U.S. and multiple countries, and we've been here on the radio show for just about 20 years, and I'm pretty proud and thankful of that. And this will be our last radio show, though. Unfortunately, it'll be the last time that we'll be getting together during the month of February, of course, because this is our last Monday in February. What did you think? I was talking about forever? No way. I've said time and time again, we'll probably be here to the last breath. But I'm thankful that you all are listening. Many of you are listening by streaming or downloading. Some do listen live, and whatever way that you're getting our show, I'm very, very appreciative. We have told you about the cold case unit that we put together and put a publication out not too long ago that we would be taking applications, looking for a few new investigators, because we're now expanding that program to include not only cold cases but current cases, as well as those involving aggravated assaults, especially where weapons have been used, on security and private law enforcement. And tonight, the 26th day of February, we're going to be meeting with some of those that are interested. And it's not too late. Send us a quick email, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Let us know you're interested in getting more information and finding out what it's all about. And we'll send you the conference call information so that you can join the call. We are very serious about getting this expanded and making a big deal out of it. One of the enhancements that we are adding is a special online program that will highlight some of the cases that we're working on, and also feature wanted persons who are wanted for security officer or police officer murders or aggravated assaults. And it's not going to be just another YouTube program. This is going to be a multi-digital effort to get the word out and let folks know what's happening and employ their help. That's what America's Most Wanted did, 20 plus years ago? And that's why they're back again, because they're so popular, because it's so needed these days especially. Contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com if you'd like to be involved. I'm pretty jazzed up today, as I've had quite a few conversations in recent weeks about technology. We talked about technology last week, but now I've got interest in a company having me come in and maybe another instructor and teaching them about using technology to strengthen their security services, but also to protect their employees. Exactly what I talked about last week and previously. So I'm telling you, if you have a security company and you want to enhance your services, and that means ROI, return on investment, more money for you, another service that you can add, and another method of protecting your client's property, their assets, but more importantly, their people and your people. Contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com. I have a lot to say about this. Some of it we've revealed already over the last few weeks and months here on the program, but there's a lot of other stuff that's coming out that you're going to be interested in, including the Real-Time Crime Center. When I come back from this first break, I'll tell you a little bit more about how that's going to work, along with a way that you can really market your services to the people who buy it. We'll also talk about some recent police videos and the Citizens Academy, which is coming up in a week. You're listening to the Voice of the Frontline Protector, a production of Blue Ram Media Group, LLC, and Private Officer International. Body Armor USA, we've got what it takes to protect you. Whether you're looking for the top quality protective armor or protective clothing, stab-resistant vests or gloves, contact my friend Ben over at Body Armor USA. Give him a call, 516 area code 817-1666. Again, that's area code 516-817-1666. Body Armor USA, we've got what it takes to protect you. No doubt about it. Many times while we're young or even middle age, we don't really think about the end game. We don't think too much about legacies or what's going to happen to us when that final time, that final day is here. On the radio program here, we've had a couple of insurance agents and experts, even financial planners, to talk about how to best leave your family if something were to happen to you. And as I get older, of course, I think about this, and we're going to have some additional training, if you will, for you. You can also go back to all of our radio shows. All of them are in the library on our website, and you can listen to those that we've already done about insurance, the type of insurance that you should have, the burial insurance, a living will, power of attorney, things like that. But if you'd like more information, you can certainly contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com. But we're going to be doing some more of this type of training and more conversations, as many security officers who are injured or killed, and I know because we took a look at all of our records for the past almost 20 years. Many who are injured or killed are above the age of 50, and that's a fact. We want their families to be secure should something happen to them, and we definitely want them to have some type of benefit. And so we'll be talking about that in upcoming weeks. I've told you about the private police in Virginia, where a private police officer was killed in the line of duty, and how several counties came together to provide the family with resources, finances, and paying off the house because there was no government benefits, as there would be if they were a public police officer working for a city, county, or state or federal government. Well, now there's more talk. I just saw this past weekend and even just a short time ago, more talk in several states about this very topic. I'm sure that a lot of this is coming because of all of the news articles done about the Virginia officer who was killed in the line of duty but was not qualified to receive those benefits. MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology police officer that was killed during the Boston Marathon killing, also his local legislators had to step in to get him covered. So this is an area that we're going to be talking a lot about. But in the meantime, we want to be able to provide you with knowledge to be able to know, what do you need? What do you need? What kind of insurance to take care of the family, burial, what kind of living will or other document should you have that dictates who has the voice for you when you can't have your own voice, and what you want done should you pass away, and everything is outlined so that it's all legal and there's no questions. And we don't want to leave our loved ones behind not knowing what to do, what to say, or what your wishes were. You don't necessarily have to have a will, especially if you don't have a lot of material things, but you can leave some legal documents, and we'll be talking about that, and this will really direct them as to what your wishes were. The Citizens Academy is coming up in less than 2 weeks. It's going to start on March the 5th. Not too late to sign up if you haven't received those emails. If you haven't seen it on social media, contact helpdesk at privateofficer.com and just let us know that you want to register, and we'll send you a link to do so. Today, I'm going to be talking a lot more about working with the police. And so if there's going to be a subject title for the program, it's called Police and You and the Police. A lot of security personnel still have a phobia, if you will, about the police or working with the police. You know, you've heard many times, and you may have said it yourself. They don't respect us. They don't trust us. They call us wannabes and all of that. I've tried to break the myth. Of course, everyone has their own opinion, so you're still going to get some of that. But today on the program, Police and You and the Police, is actually something that I'm putting together for community training. I've been asked to actually put it together by a lady from a church, and so we'll be doing that. But at the bottom of the hour, the bottom of this radio show, when we come to that segment, I want to talk about how you can provide services to the police for money. You know, everything's not about money, but if you're in business, then of course this is another avenue for you. But also how you can work with the police better, communicate with the police better, cooperate with the police better, and have a better working relationship. I don't know how to guarantee it's going to work every place, because it's not. But there are many places that it does work, and you can see it in the news all the time, especially with all of these large organized retail busts that are happening now throughout the country. LP agents are square in the middle of those investigations, and they're working with law enforcement undercover, making those bust. And so it's just, I think it's every different area, across the country. You have to sometimes step forward, reach out your hand, and explain to them what you're all about, what you do, and, get that cooperation going. I've mentioned this numerous times. I've had to do that as a security business owner. I'll talk more about that coming up. If you're a business, whether you're bail bonds, bail enforcement, private security, or training school, contact Help Desk at Private Officer. Right now we've got a special going on for marketing and advertising. It includes display ads on all of our websites, all of our social medias, all of our newsletters, and all of the content that we produce, which is a lot. If you're interested, contact Help Desk at privateofficer.com. I will take another quick break. You're listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector, and we'll be right back.
Mental health and learning disorders don't discriminate. 17 million children and adolescents in the United States live with disorders like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and dyslexia. Less than half get the help they need to thrive. Help the Child Mind Institute change these children's lives. Visit childmind.org.
For all of the years that Private Officer International has had a radio program, a blog, news sources, and other platforms, we've never used it for political, racial, or any type of format other than the enhancement, information, training of law enforcement and private security. But recently, a Harvard professor, Roland Fryer, did an interview. And on that interview, he talks about a study, a true study by dozens of faculty and students on the topic of law enforcement bias against blacks and Hispanics. Now, he recently released the study, and he's had a lot of pushback to the point where he had to have law enforcement protection for over a month, because what they found has not been the headlines for many years. The true facts of the study that was made with many African Americans being part of the research, many students and faculty involved of all races, and they came up with this data. They determined that police officers were 23.8% less likely to shoot at blacks and 8.5% less likely to shoot at Hispanics than they were to shoot at whites. And those numbers continue to even out across the country. A number of years, studies have been done that has shown that more white people have been shot year after year. Of those approximately 1,200 killed by police, but people don't want to believe that narrative. So here I have a soundbite from a recent press conference and also an appearance where he speaks about his studies. Let's take a listen.
To like that result, but we didn't find any racial bias in police shootings. Now, that was really surprising to me because I expected to see it. The little-known fact is I had 8 full-time RAs that it took to do this over nearly a year. When I found this surprising result, I hired 8 fresh ones and redid it to make sure. They came up with the same exact answer, and I thought it was robust. And I went to go give it, and my God, all hell broke loose. It was a 104-page, dense academic economics paper with a 150-page appendix, okay? It was posted for 4 minutes when I got my first email. This is full of shit. Doesn't make any sense. And I wrote back, how'd you read it that fast? That's amazing. You are a genius. And I had colleagues take me to the side and say, don't publish this. You'll ruin your career. I said, what are you talking about? I said, what's wrong with it? Do you believe the first part? Yes. Do you believe the second part? Well, the issue is they just don't fit together. We like the first one, but you should publish the second one another time. I said, let me ask this. If the second part about the police shootings, this is a literal conversation. I said to them, if the second part showed bias, do you think I should publish it then? And they said, yeah, then it would make sense. And I said, I guarantee you I'll publish it. We'll see what happens. So it was, you know, I lived under police protection for about 30 or 40 days. I had a 7-day-old daughter at the time. I remember going and shopping for, because, you know, when you have a newborn, you think you have enough diapers. You don't. So I was going to the grocery store to get diapers with an armed guard. It was crazy. It was really, truly crazy.
During the protests and riots that we have experienced for more than a dozen years across the country, especially in inner city locations, metropolitan, urban areas, we have seen the negative media play on law enforcement, when the reality and the facts have proven time and time again that the majority of the community, the majority of the population in the United States are pro-law enforcement and pro-law. The rule of law must stand. And as I have said many times on this program and elsewhere, the pendulum always swings back to where it once was. Right now, things are heading back to a form of law enforcement, law and order. Coming up later in the program, I have a very recent article that was published in a Florida newspaper where Florida sheriffs and law enforcement stood together telling criminals if they're coming to Florida for the sun and fun on the beaches, great, we welcome you. But if you're coming to Florida to be criminals, to take advantage of our citizens, to commit crimes, to do drugs, shootings, murders, or even retail theft, you better not cross our borders. And police across the country are standing up and saying enough is enough. This clip that I'm going to play shortly from a number of sound bites from Sheriff Judd in Florida kind of tells it all. And many social media sites and even some middle-of-the-road news organizations in recent years, in the last couple of years, have said crime has to be squashed. We need to bring back more law enforcement. In fact, a school in Massachusetts just asked for the National Guard to be activated to protect their school because violence had just gotten so ahead of them, even with school security. Things are bad, despite what many in the media would tell you, despite the language coming out of the Oval Office, our own White House lying about crime. Well, recently, Biden just this past week said he's going to put in an executive order that would stop people from coming across the border. Don't you know law enforcement are just having a great time with that statement? He said he was going to stop all asylums at the border like President Trump had done during his terms. But you know what? Action speaks louder than words. And I can tell you, as we'll talk about later in the program, how security and police are finding a way to not only respect each other, but to work together. I can tell you that more and more citizens are coming forward to help the police. We see thousands of news articles every day. We monitor thousands and thousands of news sites. We get publications. We get news releases. And I can tell you, my friend, things are not as bad as what they may seem. The public is stepping forward. People are getting involved. You know what? Neighborhood watches are coming back. People are involving themselves in protecting their community and working with police. Take a listen from this sheriff, and when we come back from the next break, I want to talk to you about the news, about how many security officers have been injured this year so far, or killed, and a lot more. You're listening to the Frontline Protector. Let's listen to the sheriff and see what he thinks about criminals.
Because the people of Polk County like guns, they have guns. I encourage them to own guns, and they're going to be in their homes tonight with their guns loaded. And if you try to break into their homes to steal, to set fires, I'm highly recommending they blow you back out of the house with their gun. If you're not afraid of a gun, get one. Become proficient. Get a concealed firearms license and carry it. And if you need to shoot somebody, shoot them a lot. Not only have no regret, I'm pretty excited about telling you that's exactly what would have happened. And make no mistake about it, there's nothing about politically correct in a gunfight. There's nothing about politically correct when you're keeping people alive and well and safe. And people of this community and these law enforcement officers come first. I meant every word of it then, and I mean every word of it now. If you surrender peacefully, that's the way we prefer it. You start pointing guns at us, you can not only plan on, but you can guarantee we're going to shoot you.
Hey everyone, you're listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector, right here on the Private Officer Radio Network. Now don't go away, because we are coming right back when we've got a whole lot more right here on the Private Officer Beat Radio.
Life is precious. Ask any of these people. They've been given a second chance at life through organ and tissue donation. But there are more than 84,000 Americans waiting for life-saving transplants. 17 people die every day waiting. I didn't know this until I lost my best friend, Lyric. She gave the gift of life to 5 people. That's why I've become an organ donor, too. One decision saves so many lives. Donate life.
It is very important these days, now more than ever, to stay on top of all of the news happening in our industry. I don't know how you can put your head in the sand and ignore what's happening not only around you but nationwide, worldwide, because security worldwide is having similar problems, assaults, murders. Canadian security officer was just murdered this past week. Another one was stabbed at a hospital. Go to our news, privateofficerbreakingnews.blogspot.com. It's there 24 hours a day. Those are just a few of the more than 3,000 news sites that we cover, but those are just a few of the news stories that you'll see. There's plenty of others. Go to YouTube and check out some of the police videos, which is really helpful in training and recognition. I also want to encourage you to be part of our social media communities on Facebook.com/Private Officer International and Twitter.com/Private Officer. And sign up. You still have time to sign up for the $29 annual newsletter and news magazines and all of our news and information that we put out via our emails. $29. If you can't find the site or the link, they're at privateofficer.org. Contact help desk at privateofficer.com. Some of the news items this week: a street cop police training program has now been banned in 9 states. Street cop training, which had been for a number of years respected out of New Jersey, has now filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy and is in trouble with several attorney generals because of the vulgar language, because of the unconstitutional lessons that was given in a number of their trainings, telling police not how to do things right, not how to be honest, but how to go a different route, how to set up criminals, how to take advantage of the system. Minnesota, Missouri, Maryland, Illinois, D.C., California, Oregon, Nevada, Michigan, New Jersey, and others prohibit police from going to their trainings. That's how bad it is, and we're following several lawsuits against them. In Washington, D.C., the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority, which covers the commuter rail in Virginia, Maryland, and D.C., they not only have their own police force, but they use what's called special police officers, and they have just increased their special police officer force. They work with the transit police. They patrol the platforms, the stations. They are fully sworn and can make arrests on all of those properties and the adjoining area. A Madera Unified High School security officer is arrested for having sex with a student. Police investigated and arrested Kimberly Lorenzo, 21, on charges of felony unlawful sex with a minor. A school security guard in Upper Maryland also charged with rape of a D.C. teen. That person has not been identified because there may be other charges coming forward. A hospital security officer was arrested for using a patient's debit card. The Pinellas Park Police arrested Carlos Roman, who took cash and credit card from a crash victim and then went out and spent it. A Chicago Family Dollar security officer was shot to death. This happened several days ago. Police responding to a Family Dollar store said a man shot the security officer multiple times, including in the head. The suspect is not in custody, and police are still investigating. A North Carolina police training company, a North Carolina police new law, I should say, has incorporated 64 terms for gender identity for all basic law enforcement training. Everyone going through the police academy for the basic law enforcement must learn 64 gender identity. And they reduced training on constitutional law. They would rather have new officers learn how to speak with transgender and quickly identify them than knowing and understanding constitutional law. A new Tennessee bill that is quickly making its way to the governor's desk will now increase the penalties for juveniles arrested for organized retail crime. Those gangs who are stealing tons and tons of merchandise now are going to be tried as adults. TSA announced that they intercepted a record number of firearms at checkpoints, due in part of the tenacity and the alertness of their personnel, but they also say that their new high-tech scanners was a big part of the reason why they intercepted 6,737 guns in 2023. A security officer was arrested after he left work and fatally shot his child's mother. Police said 23-year-old Aisha Lilly was found next to her moving vehicle. The suspect, 24-year-old Cameron Morrell, is in custody. A security officer that worked the Coachella Music Festival has been sued. He was originally charged with assault. Now they have filed a lawsuit against him and his security company for an alleged assault that occurred during the festival. Police have made an arrest in Portland, Oregon, of a suspect in the murder of a security officer. Sir Charles Mark Anthony Jones was murdered at a Portland hotel while on duty, the Marriott Hotel. Now a suspect, Cedric Damon Washington Jr., has been arrested. That murder happened on May 6, 2022. police in their cold case unit just arrested the suspect on February 20th. An Oakland smoke shop security officer has been shot multiple times. 2 men entered the It Is What Is smoke shop in Oakland and shot the security officer during a robbery. Authorities say the security officer is in critical condition. Another security officer in critical condition after being shot in Houston, Texas. Police responded to Houston Street. The 39-year-old security officer was wounded numerous times. Authorities say that this was some type of robbery as well. Police are offering $15,000 in reward money for the apprehension of an armored truck robber. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has made this money available after a robbery in El Segundo, California. Police say that the man wanted is 40 years old, thin, about 5'11". They do have some good leads, but they would like for others to come forward. A 15-year-old has been murdered at a South Carolina mall. Mall security was on duty and did respond. Police said the another 15-year-old was arrested in connection with that murder. Remember, you can go to our website at Private Officer Breaking News, day or night, and you can check out all of the breaking news. We'll be right back here on the Private Officer Beat Radio. Are you looking for the finest private security officer training in the Charlotte metropolitan area? Do you need PPS qualifications in armed or unarmed training? Or maybe you're over there across the line in South Carolina and you need the SLED training. Well, we've got the right training at the right time for you. Premier Training Academy, located at 5624 Executive Center Drive, Suite 142 in metropolitan Charlotte, North Carolina. Give them a call today, 704-806-4933. They also offer firearms training, personal protection, first aid and CPR, and so much more. Call John at 704-806-4933.
Driving a car is basically like driving a weapon. My friend died because someone made a bad driving decision.
My uncle died because someone didn't think before they got behind the wheel.
You let down your parents and your loved ones.
You could lose your friends. Parents don't like their kids hanging out with criminals.
Drug driving is just as bad as drunk driving.
Hey everyone, you're listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector right here on the Private Officer Radio Network. Now don't go away, because we are coming right back when we've got a whole lot more right here on the Private Officer Beat Radio.
I was just going to the grocery store.
Seatbelt violators, beware.
I forgot to put it on.
If you're pulled over because you've broken the law.
Oh, it's so uncomfortable.
And you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's broken, but I was going to have it fixed.
No matter what your excuse is, you will get a ticket in addition to the ticket for your original violation.
Click it or ticket? That's pretty easy to remember.
In recent years, there have been multiple occasions where law enforcement and private security, uniform, mall, loss prevention agents, and specialized organized retail crime investigators have worked together. And within that cooperation, there have been many arrests made, all because of the cooperation on both parties. As I have stipulated and spoken of numerous times here on the program. In all of the years that I have owned private security agencies, I've had very little negative interaction with law enforcement, despite the stories that we hear from others employed in the security business. I have found, as my companies can testify, that most of the time, police officers specifically working a beat, their supervisors, and even sometimes, and in most cases, the agency itself have been very cordial and cooperative in working together to reduce crime, to apprehend offenders, and this has been a common thread in the media for several years, where law enforcement, specialized organized retail crime units, and loss prevention agents and mall security have all teamed up in apprehending ORC gangs, individual shoplifters, those committing retail fraud. In recent months, Florida, California, and Michigan have all worked together, law enforcement and private security, which LPAs, loss prevention agents are, have all worked hand in hand to make major arrests. Just within the last 2 weeks in California, loss prevention agents and retail security and specialized organized retail crime investigators for a number of retailers have all worked together with law enforcement on an $8 million bust. Because of the cooperation of law enforcement, they were able to work hand in hand to apprehend those responsible for this major organized retail crime. In Florida, a similar story just last month. A number of sheriff's departments who have their own retail crime unit worked with loss prevention from Target, Walmart, Marshall stores, Home Depot, Best Buy, and a few others, again, to not only round up suspects, but to identify gangs and people who were perpetrating these type of crimes in the state of Florida. And again, I bring your attention to Michigan. We have had stories after stories where loss prevention and even uniformed security have worked with law enforcement to make major retailer retail theft arrest, and fraud. Recently, a credit card fraud situation, a major bust with multiple arrests across the country. We're seeing police teaming up not only with retail investigators and retail security, but also uniform security. We have brought you stories in recent months where law enforcement and private security jointly responded to calls on a property and were involved in deadly use of force. Just 2 weeks ago in Virginia Beach, police and uniformed security responding to a call in a shopping center confronted an armed suspect, and both used lethal force and killed the armed suspect. The same was true in New Hampshire last year during a situation where someone entered a nuclear site. Local law enforcement working with security flushed out the armed suspect, got into a shootout, and killed that suspect. It is not uncommon for law enforcement and security to work together. When security is on private property and they have to call law enforcement in, security doesn't just stand back, but they have to assist many times with pointing out who the suspects are, what happened, and oftentimes they assist law enforcement in every detail. Law enforcement today, as everyone knows, is understaffed. And many times, and this is a documented fact in recent years, many times, instead of sending 2 or 3 or 4 patrol cars, they send one because that's all that's available. And so when law enforcement arrives on scene, oftentimes they welcome the assistance of the security officer, if for no other reason, a show of force or that additional manpower should something go down. We have to get away from the mindset that every police department is anti-security. Private Officer International through the years has worked well with police agencies, with Crime Stoppers, with other agencies, and I can tell you firsthand, we don't have problems. We have individual officers who sometimes, they have a few remarks, but that's to be expected of anyone. Right now, as I have mentioned in previous radio shows and elsewhere, we have opportunities that have been presented to us with law enforcement understaffed, with law enforcement needing additional resources. We can offer them resources. But here's the problem. Too many security company owners, they don't think outside of the box. They think about the staffing model of security. They think about, we're just going to do the general unarmed. We're going to do access control. We're going to do event security. There's no threat there. Very, very little danger for my people. I don't have to worry about, possible injuries or deaths. I don't have to worry about a workers' comp claim. I don't have to worry about not thinking outside of the box, not understanding the evolution of security, not understanding the reality that security is providing services that never before has been done, and the opportunities that have been presented. In the company that I own, we have a huge opportunity to help security companies to transform their contract security force into more of a public safety agency, providing law enforcement with services that include community service officers, those people who respond, take reports, assist at traffic collisions, some even investigate non-injury accidents. We have opportunities right now to provide law enforcement with business zone security patrols. There were just 2 write-ups in the past week where police departments in North Carolina and in California said that contract security had reduced the crimes in the downtown area, in the business areas, and therefore let those officers continue responding to the higher priority calls. Why is it that we continue being stuck in the same mold? Why is it that we continue not looking to really advance the industry, but staying rather status quo? Why is it that we refuse to work with law enforcement? Go to publicsafetyservices.org, publicsafetyservices.org. Look at the opportunity that is there for you as a business contract security owner. As I have talked about for about a year now, the Real-Time Crime Center, a surveillance monitoring center that is high-tech, is the reality of what police are transforming their agencies to be. With surveillance, with real-time crime centers monitoring hotspots using high-tech technology, they're able to reduce crime and they're able to solve crime much faster. Well, I have put together a similar real-time crime center, and I will be making that available to private security companies, colleges and universities, small law enforcement agencies, and others. This is an opportunity for you to get involved at the beginning. Contact us at helpdesk at privateofficer.com. I can tell you unequivocally that contract security will will have to address the training issue. We'll have to address using technology, probably 50% of the time, combining it and pairing it up with physical security. I can tell you without any hesitation or doubt that private security, as I have mentioned in weeks past, is at the forefront of a huge change. Many areas have private police. These officers are above and beyond contract security. They are law enforcement officers. These officers don't take the place of police. In some areas they do. And we will be talking about that more in the upcoming weeks and months. The opportunities, and that's what we need to, call them. We need to be looking at this as opportunities, big opportunities for change, to grow our companies, to bring in more income. That's what business is all about. And we need to be looking at things in a different light, not negatively. It is unfortunate that many, many companies just can't see it. Many, many companies don't want change. And they don't want the government to get involved. They don't want to be regulated when it comes to training or other aspects of their business. And I get that. It's all about money. But here's an opportunity to make more of it, to make more money, to provide a service, to increase your abilities, your service. I don't understand for the life of me why security people, are so negative against law enforcement. We need to be working hand in hand. This is just the introduction of my sermon, because I'm going to have more of these type of messages, because I see the bigger picture, and that's what we need to do. Seize the opportunity, see the bigger picture, and let's make our industry professional. If you would like to get involved or you want more information, contact me at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Until the next time, y'all be safe, be blessed, and we'll see you back here on the radio.